Section 6, the power of leverage. Now in section 5 we talked about the magic of compound interest, how compound interest magnifies your wealth over a certain period of time. Now we're going to talk about the power of leverage, which is another money magnifier, wealth magnifier, which uses a financial leverage to multiply your net worth and make your money grow faster. Now the simplest way to explain it, leverage is just simply financial term derived from the word lever. Now if we think back to the science lessons when we were at school, a lever allows us to magnify the output that we put on one end of the lever. Easiest thing to remember, I think we can all relate to, is the seesaw in the playground. Now pretty much I'm sure we've all sat on one end and got 2 or even 3 of our friends to sit on the other end, and we can balance them if they sit near the middle and we sit on one end, because that is the power of what a lever does. You're magnifying your output depending where the fulcrum's placed. Now I don't want to get too technical with fulcrums and stuff, but basically financial leverage is magnifying your output through the medium of using a financial leverage mechanism. Now, the simplest way, I'll give you a very simple example with the assumption that you have £100,000 available for investment purposes and you want to buy a £100,000 investment property for your long-term financial wealth. Okay, so you could just simply go out, find a property for 100,000 and spend your money. You now have £100,000 worth of investment property as part of your net worth. Now using leverage, instead of just buying one property, what you could do, and this is something I used to advise many people to do, so redo that one. You could split it and buy 2 instead. So you put 50,000 down on 2 as a big deposit, and the other you fund the rest of it through a mortgage. Now that's on working on the basis that the rental income from this investment property will cover the mortgage. Okay, but through leverage, the most important thing here is you've doubled the amount of assets that you now own. So any future growth you get because you've leveraged your money. So let's jump into the future. We'll go 10 years into the future and we'll assume the property is doubled. Now in the UK market, property historically doubles around every 10 years. It grows at around 7.98% and it's done this for the last sort of 60 or 70 years because of the fundamentals of the UK market. So it's a very safe long-term investment. Now, if we now say was worth 100,000, it's doubled, gained another 100,000, so the value is now 200,000. Now, of course, these two, where you leverage your money and bought 2, they will also both gain 100,000. So the values of all 3 are 100,000. But on this side, on the leverage side, you've got twice as much. So let's have a quick look at the maths. So with this one, you've got a value of 200. You started with 100. Okay, so your gain is 100. So it's 100% return. Now if we go over to this side, you've got £400,000 worth of property, both worth 200. You put 100 in, that was original cash, and then you had £100,000 mortgage. If we take those 2 away, you're left with 200,000, right, which is a 200% gain. So you put 100 in, this one you put 100 in, you got an extra 100 on top, 100% return. With the leverage side, you put 100%, 100,000 in, you got a gain of 200,000, which is 200%. So it's the same input, but you've doubled your output through the power of leverage. Okay, I hope that makes sense. In the written section on 6, we show you a couple of examples. You can leverage it even further. You could buy 4 properties on the same principle. Now, of course, this is not something you rush into. This is where I would always advise you use professionals. But this is how, through leverage over time and carefully considered investments, you can magnify your wealth. Very, very powerful principle, and you could say it's how a lot of the new wealth these days, apart from people who have phenomenal businesses, the general wealth is created through property, buying property and just allow it to grow over time. Okay, that's the end of section 6. Next video we'll do a little recap of everything so far, and we'll see you there.